One of my viewers, Tony from the Blue Mountains, sent me this as a gift, as a present. He said to me, Pete, I want you to enjoy it and wear it in good health. And Tony, I want to thank you for what you've sent me, but it's given me an opportunity to send you one back. So by the time you're watching this video, Tony, you've got a watch on your hand as well. But today is about this watch, the Nodus. It's called the Nodus Sector Field Watch. And I'll tell you what, guys, it's pretty impressive. In fact, not only does it go head to head with a Seiko Alpinist, in some areas it's actually better. Let's check it out. Okay, welcome back to the channel, guys. So first and foremost, Tony, a big shout out to you. Thank you for this gift, mate. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy the watch that I sent to you. It meant a lot to me. It was dear to my heart, and I know you're going to enjoy it because you made a comment on one of my videos that you like that watch. So mate, enjoy your watch. But today's about this watch, guys. It's about the Nodus Sector Field. It's an interesting watch. It's actually, for me, this is a sort of watch that competes head to head pretty much with a Seiko Alpinist, and I say that for a reason, only because its specifications are very close size wise. It is a field watch. It's a ridiculously legible field watch, and you know what, it's built beautifully. It looks great, it sits great on the wrist, so I want to share my thoughts on it. But let's get stuck into this review, guys. Let's get stuck into this watch. So what we have here is basically a case diameter of 38.5 millimeters, a lug to lug distance of 47.1. I measure the case height in at 12.8 mil and a lug width of 20. So the watch is pretty much extremely close to what a Seiko Alpinist is in regards to all of its dimensions, and I'm going to put this on the wrist to show you guys what it looks like. Okay, there you go. So as you can see, there's the watch sitting on my 7-inch wrist, and it looks superb. The footprint is beautiful. It's only 38 mil and a half, and I tell you what, it sits wonderfully. Even the height of the watch sits fantastic. It comes in, I measure at 12.8 mil, but if you look at that sapphire crystal at the top, it's got a bevel on it. That's roughly 3 mil sitting up there, so it sits really nicely on the wrist. So I like it. I really like the watch, but there's one fault of this watch that I'm going to pick on at the end, but before we get there, I'm going to tell you guys what I think about this watch as a review, as its pluses, as its value for money, all the rest. So let's take it off the wrist and let's check it out. So as you can see here, guys, this is the field watch. I was about to say Seiko, obviously, because this is, for me, this is a direct comparison or the direct competitor to a Seiko Alpinist. And that's how I've had this in my mind. That's how I've thought of this watch. I've been wearing it for about nearly 2 weeks now, and I'll tell you what, this particular unit, it's so nice as an inexpensive, really robust, really legible field watch, and I'm going to share that with you guys. So basically, what I do like about this, first and foremost, is that crown. You've got a fantastic oversized, it's roughly 7.5 millimeter crown. It's a screw down crown, so it features 150 meters of water resistance. The action is lovely, so I'll unscrew that for you guys. Pops out, as you can hear that. We can hack the movement, there you go. Adjust the time to wherever we want, lock it in, away you go. Now the watch features a date at between 4 and 5 o'clock, and you know what? This is probably one of the nicest executed dates I've seen at that position. It's got a nice bevel around that circle, and I think they've done it well, and it really sits well with this particular watch. Visually, it just seems to blend in nicely with the dial and its aesthetics, as well as being legible. When you want it, you know where to look at. You look at it, it's there. So that's a really pleasing, for me. Again, this is subjective, guys. A lot of people I know don't like that. They'd rather have it either balanced at 6 or 3 or altogether gone, but that actually works quite well. Now, the screw down experience of the watch is fantastic. It latches on first time, locks in. There's your 150 meters of water resistance. Really nice. I love oversized crowns, guys. I really do. So that's one of the positives. The second positive I like is the legibility. Just look at that. Just have a look at that dial. Just have a look at the Arabics that are laid around. Perfect balance from the Nodus to the sector down the bottom. It's clean, it's simple. In fact, I see this as a very understated watch. And the reason I say that, it's offering 150 meters of water resistance with the screw down crown, and it's not showing it on the dial. It's not boasting. It's really nice. It's good to see a watch doing that. It's not advertising itself. You know that you're safe. You can go into certain situations in the environment, in our nature, and be safe. You won't have an issue with a watch like this. Now, if you look at the Arabics and the hands, they're basically got Superluminova C1, X1, and the Arabics themselves are actually raised. They're slightly raised, so you've got a nice 3D look on this dial, which is wonderful. And I think the combination of the way that the dial looks semi-sandwiched to me, it works. It really works. So I'll give you guys a loom shot if you have a look, and it's nice, it's clean, it's legible. It doesn't last very long. It's enough to do the job and have a pleasurable experience in different lighting conditions, in dim lighting situations and so forth. Now, there's a couple of little things on this watch that I want to point out, things called accents. And if you have a look at that seconds hand, it's like a nice olive green. It's wonderful. It's actually slightly off from the white and the mid-tones and so forth, and it's got a nice tonality to it. And it's complemented with the same color at 12, 3, 6, and 9. As well as, if you get down on a macro level, in those little slits over there, and the actual sector, the actual divider. So it's just nice and subtle. It's not in your face. It's sublime, guys. It really is. It's a really nice visual experience, and I think it's more earthen tones, and it draws you in a way which is, it's comforting. It really is. So I enjoy the dial and looking at the dial for its detail and its legibility. Now, the watch features a Seiko NH35, and it's regulated in 4 positions. And this particular one here, ideally these are meant to be plus or minus 10 seconds as they state in the literature. This one here is plus 5 seconds a day, which is pretty reasonable, pretty good. The crystal that the watch features is a flat sapphire crystal. It's flat on the top and it's curved or domed on the underside with anti-reflective coating. It also has a bevel right at the edge, as you can see. So it's an interesting sapphire crystal. It's doing a great job. It's also giving you, if you have a look at the bevel, you can see that there's reflections of the 5, 6 and so forth, all the Arabics. You know, you can see them reflecting in that bevel, which is an interesting effect. Just another thing to look at that grabs your attention to make this watch a little bit more interesting, which is nice. Now, the case on this is a matte blasted finish with hints of highly polished bevels running the entire case length. That's on the top as well as the bottom. So it's quite an interesting finish case, and the reason that watch manufacturers do that, they give you a high polish on the top and the bottom, is to basically create an illusion of thinness. So it makes the watch look thinner and present better on the wrist. And you know what? It works. It works. With a watch like this, it basically gives you a nicer, thinner profile at the edge, and when you put this on the wrist, that 12.8 millimeters is hidden. It pretty much looks like about an 11mm watch, which is fantastic. So I'm really impressed with that. Now, the bezel on the watch is a highly polished flat fixed unit, and it works well because the visual appeal of the high polished offsets the high polished bevel that runs along that case. So it's, you know what, they've thought this out. They've thought this watch out, guys, and I think visually and design wise they've done a really good job, especially with those lugs, the way they taper in, short lug length. It's a really pleasing experience on the wrist. Now, what I see here in my hand, guys, is basically a great case, a fantastic profile. You got drilled lugs, a nice turned down lugs as well, excellent experience on the wrist, a well-designed field watch. And comparing this to a Seiko Alpinist, I mean, the only main difference that I can see is movements. You've got a 6R35 or 6R15 in those Alpinists, current day I should say, 6R35 as compared to an NH35. So robustness, you can't go wrong. Size wise, they're pretty much the same thing, but value for money, guys, you can't go wrong. And you know what, in a couple of areas this is actually better, in a couple of areas. And the areas I say is it costs literally half the price, it's built just as well, that crown is fantastic, it really is, guys. It's absolutely brilliant. And the overall visual appeal, look, legibility wise, I think this works better than the Alpinist. Again, it depends on the colorway you get, but having owned the white one, the ivory dialed one, I think this works a lot better than what that did. And for those in the market for an Alpinist, they can't afford it. And the way the prices are going today with Seiko and so forth, inflating, going up and up and up, some people are in the market for a watch the size of an Alpinist and they can't afford it. Well, there's your answer. There's your answer, guys, and it's just as good visually, footprint, robust feeling, everything. It's brilliant. I'm really enjoying this watch. So I think we're living in a day and age today where manufacturers, micro brands, are bringing out watches with excellent quality, great craftsmanship, really nice movements. You know, you can go anywhere from Nodus to Solitas to NH35s. For me personally, I look at watches like this and I think, you know what? It's serviceable. It's got a great movement that's serviceable. It's got a proven movement. It's got a fantastic case finishing that I can see that they've done on this. So this is a no-brainer. It really is a no-brainer. Now I said at the beginning of this video that there is a fault, pretty much one fault that I don't like about this watch, and that is that crystal, that sapphire. You see, the sapphire crystal is flat, but it's domed on the underside, and in doing so, it seems to be picking up, as you can see, reflections that are stray light, awkward reflections, or just changing the dynamic of what I see visually on this dial. And it's the first thing that I picked up. Being a photographer, the first thing that I looked at was the visibility and legibility on how I could see that dial. And looking at, I'll give an example. Here's another watch with a flat sapphire crystal, and this one here's got flat, but it's got domed underneath. So this is the domed, this is the fully flat. So if you look at the difference when we put them against the light, see how this one here washes out completely, this one doesn't. So they've both got anti-reflective coating on the other side, but you just get a cleaner effect from just a straight flat sapphire crystal than one that's got a dome on the underside. So that's one of my sort of dislikes of this watch, pretty much my only dislike of this watch. But in saying that, when I've got this on the hand, when I've got it outside, even though it does pick up reflections from different areas and stuff, I end up looking at that dial directly and see through those reflections, only because the legibility is so good. In other words, the contrast between the hands, the markers, and the dial is done brilliantly. So very nice watch. Thank you, Tony, for sending this out to me, mate. Thank you. I'm going to wear it in good health, and you know what? It's probably going to be a watch that goes with me for a very long time, as I have been wearing it for 2 weeks and I've been enjoying it, so it's going to stay on the wrist for a long time, mate, and I'll be thinking of you. So let me know your thoughts, guys, what you think of the watch. For me personally, I've placed it on this Halloween strap. It's from Strapatilia. It's a really nice, comfortable experience. It's soft. It seems to be doing a great job for me. It's comfortable. I don't even know it's on the wrist, so I'm enjoying it. Give me your thoughts, your ideas, your comments. Looking forward to seeing them all. Thanks again for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.